Yo guys, today we're going to watch a video, not a specific organized video, but a video from this guy talking about why are 3D gacha game stories worse than 2D ones. To be honest, I just think that the reason I, for me, the reason I think why 3D gacha game stories sometimes is better than 3D games is because the 3D model. Like I think the problem is that they need to create the 3D model for it, and I feel like most of the time they just don't want to spend that much money in creating an insane 3D model that is so hard to use when become playable. Because that means that they need to create everything from scratch. Because some of the animation is reused. I feel like that's why Genshin's decided to not what I call innovate more of their character design only because they want to reuse animation. And if they innovate too much, then they need to what I call do the animation from the exploration thing from scratch. Like that but then again we have like Zen what I call not Zenless. Well, both of them, Zenless and HSR, were both of them 3D games where they have potential of doing like because for ZZZ they don't have like climbing or anything, so meaning that there's no much reuse animation they use in every character, so every character is always so unique, and they do sometimes release some insanely unique designs of a character. Like for example, Banyue. Banyue is probably one of the most unique characters they have created in terms of 3D model and everything. Like he's so big. And then we have HSR, which everyone is human. Like everyone literally are humanoid. Even though with the what you call even with the like they can be so unique with the animation or by doing what you call because they are turn-based game, and but he is talking about story, right? Like what I noticed from what you call well, kind of depends, huh? Like from for Arknights, I have seen that it has better story than most, but I think the problem with Arknights is that none of it is voiced, while a lot of the gacha games nowadays are voiced with incredible cast of what I call designs. And even if Arknights has small male characters than most gacha games, I feel like gacha game story will not be ever going to be achieved in the higher level in terms of gacha called game stories, in my opinion. But yeah, 3D gacha game stories, well, I don't want to say a lot of them are worse. Like I think that Genshin and HS, well, HSR kinda, well, I don't think HSR and Genshin story is bad. Same with Honkai Impact Third. Like I don't think those three stories are bad for a 3D gacha game. It's just that like other things makes them unable to, like other factors kinda play a role, making them become way more not popular, to be honest. Like I don't think Genshin story is bad. It's just like generally I think the law of the story is good. It's just that I feel like most of them, like I think the problem with most 3D games is that they are too scared to go dark with the story, and sometimes they don't want to kill characters because for Genshin I can understand, like most of the playable characters are all are all alive, while all the dead characters never become playable. But it's different for like HSR is different kinda because even though the what I call Crisis Air literally died, like literally Anatsa when he before even he get released, he already died in the story, mind you. But but it's so different because the Crisis Air doesn't really truly die when you really think about it. The only characters that I think that actually died in the story and but still become playable is Gallagher and Misha. That's the only one. There's the two characters that actually died and still become and still become playable. Um so and I feel like Honkai Impact has probably a lot of character death, but they still become playable. Like Honkai Impact is the only exception in Hoyover's game where the characters actually a lot of important characters die, but they still become playable. Like for example, Himiko. Like they are bravely enough to actually make the game's dark, story dark, But yeah, most 3D gacha game don't are not really, they are scared to make this game dark. And as you've seen from Wuthering Waves, the fact that they kept Follower alive is one of the worst aspect that I've seen in the story. Like, Follower, if story would have been concluded very well if she actually died there. But nope, she's alive. Like for Emiet, I feel like most people want her to live, but I feel like if she actually died there, well, I don't. She already died. she literally already died. We are literally playing her as a ghost form. But like, yeah, but I think that's what makes 2D stories sometimes better because they are not scared to make the story so dark. And I think I've seen from this only from Arknights. Like Arknights is the only, well, not really. I have played other two what you call other non 3D games, gacha games, which is Guardian Tales, and both Guardian Tales and what you call and Arknights, I think like their story is one of the best. Like I love the way they do the story, like because of how dark it is, and from like and I can see why. Like 3D games just brave enough to actually show some dark things.
Referenced it in many of my videos. If you have been watching me for a bit, you would know that I play Arknights. I
Yeah,
referenced it in
okay.
many of
You
my
play
videos,
Arknights.
including one where I literally dreamt about it, where
He's
the
an Arknights
infected were
player.
killed by ninjas sent by the Australian government.
What the fuck?
Yep,
Australian government?
that was crazy.
What?
And as you can tell that
Ninja's plot. Okay, that should be a plot. You should write that down and give that idea to someone.
if I am literally dreaming about Arknights, I probably have played the game to an extensive degree and have read not just the main story, but some of the side stories as well. I think in total as well, I've
Side
spent
stories, I haven't touched the side stories that much yet. Like I've touched, obviously the Dark Knight Memoir, but that's the only one that I actually read. The other ones I'm planning to, to play, work on Mansfield Break. I actually want to, like after doing after I complete the act one of the story, I'm probably going to focus on Lone Trail story because I want to read the manga and I feel like Lone Trail story is where the law is, right? So yeah.
around $300 on it, which is not my proudest achievement, but I needed that potential 5 Texas Alta, bro. That nukes bosses to oblivion. So when Arknight's Enfield was announced to be releasing soon after I had taken an extended break from the original, I decided to jump back into the games, just to catch up on the lore for the new story. And when the game was released, I was pretty happy with it. The visuals look utterly insane for a
Yeah, the visuals are insane. Like I feel like out of all the gacha games, I think I consider Enfield has the most visually pleasing 3D model out of all of them. Like people can argue that Wuthering Waves has better, but yeah, but I think I really like the way they shade a lot of the what you call the clothing and everything,
gacha and was actually well
and
optimized.
I like how glossy the hair and well optimized. Yeah, it's like when it released, it's so well optimized. It's insane.
The factory building was on par with actual paid factory Steam games like Satisfactory, and the character models and designs were really nice and
Yeah.
fun to look at. And they didn't have a gambling relic upgrade system, praise the Lord. However, there was one aspect that I was a bit disappointed by. The
Sorry.
story.
Yep.
It just fell.
Valley 4 is so bad. Valley 4 story is so bad. I hate Valley 4. Like, I don't hate it, but dude, I feel like because we only focus on the crisis theme, like, I don't really see the development of for Pelika and Chen. Like, I love Chen, but I feel like they kind of like, and we have Wolfguard and Rossi as well. But I feel like they not include them in the story in a very well way. Like I think Wuling did it way more better. But I just going to say the best story is still the Leviathan story. Like I think nothing still top that what you call it, that Leviathan story. Like generally, like when are we going to see more storytelling like Leviathan story?
Flat.
Like I thought that probably the other inconvenient has that kind of storytelling as well. For example, like Gilberta, but nope, Gilberta's story is boring. I'm sorry, but her story is boring to the point that I don't even want to post it.
It felt like something that I had seen before, a story that didn't offer anything new, just a new look of paint. And this felt really weird. Why would the sequel to Arknights, a gacha game with some of the best writing in the entire gacha game sphere, be so much worse than its predecessor? The world is still the same, so we see the same races of people like Sancta, Sarkaz, Bird people, and definitely regular people. And the setting is cool as fuck, being trapped on a new planet separated from your original civilization. Technically, it is a moon. But the story
Yeah, it's a moon. I
of
forgot.
fighting Nefereth and the Vague King with their
Dude, I love Ardashir. I think Ardashir and Neferret as a villain are so cool. Like damn, they are such a cool villain. Like in terms of design, in terms of how menace they are. Like I think I really like them. Neferret at first I didn't like her as much because she's only hot, you know. But the dragon scene was so cool. Like, dude, she was so cool in that boss fight that even though I don't know much about her, her presence with the boss fight is so insane that I generally praise her for it.
army of poor people on cocaine was nowhere near the expectations I had for the game. So, what's the difference? Why is it so much worse? Oh. That's why.
Like I said, Genshin is not bad. Like I don't think Genshin's story is bad.
Fully 3D gacha
Because Genshin does have some dark scenes. Like the rule storyline is so fucked up. Like I think the problem with it is that whenever there's no voice, it just becomes so hard to kinda like I think like some stories or some story quests or world quests from Genshin, I was able to not remember the story only because they are not voiced. And because I fully expect them to voice a lot of the characters. But for Arcanines, at least I need to read it. But still, reading takes a long way.
games have become insanely popular over the last couple of years. It started with Genshin, and many more have come out since then. Zenless Zone Zero, with
Like I think still that Genshin is better in terms of story, like world building. Like I feel like people don't give Genshin a lot of credit. I know that a lot of their QOL is suck ass, but in terms of story, I don't think they are bad. Like I'm still playing Genshin only because of the story. Well, most games I play mostly because of the story, but it's not. But I think the story of Genshin is so captivating with the lore and everything. Like if you really are deep into the lore, some of the quests just become so big because the lore that you have heard from long before and theorized has suddenly become confirmed and confirm the what the story was, and it was so big in like Nokra is still one of my favorite story arc. People hate it, but I love it with the amount of lore that they finally confirm us, especially with Nibelung and the three moon goddesses. Like, dude, that was peak.
Waves, Honkai Star Rail, Tower of Fantasy, nobody talks about that, and Infinity Nikke. All of these games have been racking in massive amounts of fans and most notably, profits, becoming some of the most popular gacha games in the modern day. The fact that you can play a fully 3D game with amazing graphics, good combat systems, and really fun and consistent events, all for the price of free, is a deal too good to pass up. However, one aspect of these games that you never or rarely hear people universally praising is their stories. Whether it be because the story is not immersive enough, the characters feel as if they are cardboard, or how the MCs in these games feel like Mary Sue's. And what's funny, you don't hear these kind of criticisms of traditional 2D visual novel stories.
I don't like. I feel like, in my opinion, the early parts of the story of FGO is not that great. Like I love FGO. No, I don't. I don't love FGO. I love the story. Like I watched the Mesopotamian arc, and I really like that arc. But but I really don't want to join in the play. I don't want to play FGO just because not only the gacha. I really don't want to play another gacha, and they are not voiced. Like I feel like it's such a missed opportunity to not have voice lines for the characters in 2D because they have an easy way to tell a story, which is a visual novel style of storytelling. But the fact that there's no voice, like I always like I said, like Arkness, I love the story, but the storytelling is not desirable for me.
and other gacha games, most of which are still being consistently talked about and loved to this day, even though some of them have been going on for longer than 10 years. So let's look at why and how 3D gacha game stories
All I know that the Lost Spell is very well loved.
are considered much worse than their 2D counterparts. Though that doesn't mean bad, it's just 2D games are just that much better. And for clarification, I am mainly talking about how the story is presented, not the actual gameplay. So games like Honkai Impact 3 and Punishing Grey Raven with their visual novel style will generally be considered as 2D.
Oh, really? You consider them 2D? Interesting. I want to see the settings that will play this sound. The fuck?
Immersion is a word that gets thrown around a lot when talking about this topic, and for good reason. When you read a story, you want to feel as if you are inside the world, experiencing the story along with the characters, and many good stories do a fantastic job of sometimes even making the story feel exceptionally real. And in traditional 2D visual novel storytelling, this is no problem. We read the chapters, cantos,
Yeah.
or episodes the same way you read a normal book, with words on the screen and sometimes more detailed scenes or fights. And because it is a book format, we have to make up the gaps of the scenes that aren't given to us in our minds, because
So okay.
visual novels only give you 2D sprites, sometimes moving. We have to make up the gaps of the scenes that aren't given to us in our minds. We have to imagine what the characters running away from the villain looks like ourselves, or a massive battle with multiple factions and people. And because we have to picture it ourselves, it sort of forces us to get even more immersed than usual, because we see the story through our
That's an interesting take.
own lens, which allows us to further connect with the characters and story more. However, this gap is filled in 3D gacha games. We get to see exactly how a character reacts to the death of their friend, or the scale of a massive battle. However, oftentimes, this leads to us actually being less immersed than if we were just reading about it. The characters' expressions look lackluster for what they should be experiencing, or a gruesome injury is described as being something that the character might not survive from, and then they look like they're having a nap. It really takes you out of the story, reminding you that these are characters and not real people. And this is mainly because it is in, well, 3D. Speaking from limited experience, 3D modeling and storytelling is very hard. You have to model practically everything about a character, rig them so they move
So
in a
he's just talking about storytelling. I don't know. Like, I think I still prefer the storytelling in 3D games than what I call 2D, because let's be honest. Like, will you actually, like, most people will probably wouldn't read. Especially in this day or age where reading is probably the most or underrated thing, or the most blasphemous thing. Like, dude, like, literally some of the stories are get complained, like, especially in Genshin, HSR, and Z story. Sometimes they get complained just because they don't read enough. Like, literally because they don't read. And most of the complaint is because, like, for ZZ, like, the lack of story, like same with Genshin, like, it's just the lack of the way of storytelling in 3D format.
manner that at least resembles a human.
Like, the moment they do the dialogue in a very visual novel style is the moment they go away with it, which is understandable. And I feel like it's kind of unfair comparison, because I do think HSR and Genshin story is still good, like, generally. Like, I love Arknights, but I wouldn't really say their story is still top what I call top Genshin and Genshin and Honka Star story just yet, because I just play Act 1. I think that Act 1 really focus on the world building more. But I still think the story for Genshin is probably one of my favorites because of the lore.
Making sure nothing is clipping through that shouldn't be, and then you have to animate the model to work both in-game and during cutscenes of the story. So trying to tell a multi-day long story with fully animated cutscenes, lip-syncing, and different locations and effects is going to be very hard and expensive, as opposed to just PNGs moving on the screen. And since it is so expensive, there isn't much incentive to tell that great of a story or to make the story that high quality. For example,
Why?
in Honkai Star Rail, when we find Firefly getting a practical telephone pole shoved through her, the camera cuts away to avoid having to show what is actually happening. And when we do finally see her whole body, it looks like nothing even happened. It's as if the thinness of the spike was the thinness of that one transformer that everyone uses to complain about how CGI used to be so much better. And when she quote-unquote dies, she just disintegrates into a cloud of dream clouds. We never actually get to see a body, or not one that looks like it has been stabbed by a giant fireman pole. Because for what purpose do the animators need to animate all that? This cutscene lasts for at most 50 seconds, so there's no reason to
Well, it's from the context of the story, it's understandable because they are not like they are in a dream.
model and animate all of that just for a small amount of time. And that's reasonable. But because it does this, it kind of ruins the immersion of the story. It makes it feel safe, as if it is trying to sanitize itself. Whereas, let's say in Arknights, when Duchess Windermere is killed by the Sanguinarch, or when Kaltzit is
Oh fuck. Wait, let me skip this. I don't want to see this.
feel safe, as if it is trying to sanitize itself.
Skip to spoiler for. Oh fuck, chapter 11 and 30. Oh my god, that's kind of scary. Oh my god. Oh, whoa, I almost spoiled myself. Where is it? Sensitivity.
Scene. You'll be in character, discussing how the end of the universe is about to happen, with all the big characters here trying to save the day, but they'll all have the same stock animation that all the boring NPCs have.
Understand? Yeah, this is understandable. Yeah. For HSR, it's kind of. I don't understand why HSR doesn't do great storytelling when the animation is just, like HSR is probably the only game where I just don't understand why they don't have better storytelling than Genshin. Like generally, I think Genshin has better story than them generally. But I feel like most people don't play Genshin anymore after Netlin. Not gonna lie, it's kind of sad. Like I know Netlin is so bad. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm one of those people that hate Netlin story. To be honest, I just don't like the way they end it. And I don't like I think the ending really ruins it for me.
Run the exact same way, and when the final battle happens, they just stand around the same way as they would if they were safe on the train. Or how you will swear that you have seen a character before, only because the game decided to use the same model again 50 times. And you might say, don't 2D games also have a limited amount of models and sprites? Yes, that's true, but unlike 3D games, it's only the ones we see. We're allowed to fill in the gaps of what the rest of the group would look like in our mind, instead of being shown the entire group that looks like a copy and paste of each other.
Like he does make a great point, but this is just immersion point. Like immersion is like I don't really put immersion in the equation of great story because like I know what they're going like for someone like me, I cannot understand what they're trying to go with it with the way they try to tell the story, and I just accept it as it is. I always judge stories based on writing alone. Like there's no that's why I I play Honka Star for God's sake. Like Honka Star is literally a it's literally a visual novel but 3D. Like generally. And not only that, some of the story you need to find some relic to see some for like Elder Ring some shit, bro. Like I don't know why they do this, but some of the story, well, I don't mind it because some of the story hidden in the relics it's kind of giving foreshadowing or kind of teasing what the character story is, and there is a chance they're going to show the story in the story itself. I said last Signora. Characters.
Gacha games are made to sell characters. That's the long and short of it. And because you are trying to sell characters, you have to make your player base want to buy them. And in order to do that, you have to, in some way, get new characters into the story so that people can get invested in them. Limbus Company completely avoids this by just giving their characters bipolar disorder. But the problem with trying to get these characters
because they are all the same character, right?
into the story just to sell them is that it can feel really unnatural to see a random character get shoehorned in just so that they can be sold to you. This isn't a problem inherent to 3D gacha games, but it's much more pronounced than them. Because, as I stated before, 3D modeling is hard, especially when you are making a character from scratch and trying to sell it to your players. You have to make them both interesting story-wise and gameplay-wise, and you have to make them look better than a regular NPC that has had its textures painted onto their body. And with most 3D games only releasing 2, sometimes 3 characters at most every patch, there is a massive incentive
Genshin has so much 4 stars, and I love it. Like people, like I'm glad that Genshin pop up a lot of 4 stars, and I feel like most people don't complain a lot of 4 stars. That, well, Nathalan, we did. For me, Nathalan, I did complain. Ororon and Ifa, like those two males. Why they 4 stars? Like why? I want to like even Janssen, like what you call, like Janssen, Ororon and Ifa are 3 Genshin characters where they hated the fact that they are 4 stars. But like Netflix has so much hate. Like and I don't mind the Netflix. But even though I don't mind it, I kind of feel sad because some people just drop Genshin immediately after Netland, even though Northcry is way more better.
to ensure that each one gets people rolling, because the loss on a poor character in one of these patches is massive. So they put them into the story, even though sometimes they don't actually add anything to the story and are just there to increase roster and profits. And this problem only sort of happens in 2D games. Sure, they are still trying to sell you a character, but since they're able to create so many more than just 1 every 2 weeks, with sometimes 4 on a single banner.
Yeah. We just did the banner. What's the 3 characters? Like we don't even know them. Like these 3 characters, I don't even know them.
The story is able to pick and choose what characters they want to include in the main story, because there are so many different characters to choose from. And if there isn't a character available that is needed for the story, it is much easier to create a new one, with many of these games commissioning artists for the in-game art.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, to be honest. I didn't know Arcanines did this at first, but that's such a unique way to include the artist in a way. Like I don't know if any other gacha games or 2D gacha game does this, because a lot of characters have different art style, right? Like some group of fashion characters have just different art style compared to other characters. Like Nami is probably the most popular one. Like she's the only one I remember, or he's the only one I remember. I don't know, bro. I don't know what gender it is. Nami feels like a female name. But yeah, Nami's arts are probably the most recognizable one, and I probably remember she's the only artist I remember, to be honest.
It also has the side benefit of having so many different styles of characters, as each artist puts their own unique spin on each. And you may ask, how do they sell these characters to you if they don't appear in the main story? Because it is much easier to create stories in these games, they are able to afford to give most characters that you pull for their own individual story event.
Genshin has it too, you know. Even most characters have individual story, but I guess the problem is that in the story sometimes they are alone and they just only focus on them alone. Well, Valka's story wasn't like that. Like it kind of depends, right? Like some of the story quests is just better than other. Some of them are not.
This has the double benefit,
And some of them are supposed to be alone. Like for example, Skirk. Like I think it's understandable why there's no characters in other characters that in Skirt's storyline in Skirt's story quest.
of not overloading the main story with a bunch of random characters. It also gives the side characters a chance to shine and tell their own stories in much more detail without it being weighed down by the main story. And with a much bigger cast of characters with dedicated events, they can also afford to give the characters in the main story actual development.
I think Genshin event story is good. The problem is that it's not replayable. I think that's the only problem with Genshin story. Like we aren't able to play anymore. Like no one will know about the story of Durin. Generally, no one will ever know, and that's just sad. that people will never know the story of Durin. Like for this one, at least they can replayable and actually read the story. But for Genshin, on like Durin's story is so important because he becomes an important character in not really an important character, but at least, but he does become a character during Nokrai that plays a bit of a role with the abyssal power in some sort of way. And yeah, if you don't do the event, then you are cooked.
Since there isn't any ham-fisted characters in the main story, it can also afford to focus on developing the main cast and the plotline better. And for events in 3D games, since the main story and characters demand so many resources to produce, they can't afford to make side events, so the events instead focus on gameplay and side missions instead. They are much easier to produce, usually just being extensions of the main gameplay or fun and interesting new gameplay. And if that gameplay has a bug, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be gone in a few weeks. And because the release schedule of these games are so small to constantly keep players engaged, writers can't expand and focus on new plots in these events even if they wanted to. And if they do, these plots can't heavily impact the main story. So what ends up happening is that
I disagree for Genshin a bit, because the Hutao storyline with the Lantern Rite is related to the storyline of what happened with, like what happened with Natlan, because the Abyss, the after we because after we did the thing with the Abyss, suddenly things start happening outside of Natlan, like with Leeway with the what you call it, the overworld thing I forgot, and then Raiden with the other thing, and then we have after the and then we have what I call not Silali, the most major event in the story of Nokrai, which is the moon, the real moon actually coming in back from the firmament, is that which is a very important story. Like that's and it just opens more characters now to appear. And for example, Zibai was trapped. What a part of her was trapped in the moon, and because of what called Columbina did and bring and not Columbina did the what happened in Nokra story did they able to bring back a character back, and same with Zibai. Zibai it's like during an event. Like generally, the event is so important because the characters actually now being alive and actually like both Dorian and well, Dorian has a conquest that makes him able to exist in this world as a playable character. But for Zibai, she becomes playable only because what we did in the what called in the story in the main quest, which is the not cry quest, and without that quest, Ziba will never exist because the moon thing, the moon is finally down, and I think it's kind of insane, and well yeah,
take a break from saving the city from the imminent threat
but is just starting to do things like this. I think.
of the villain's army to open a bakery. And funnily enough, I find the best character writing in these games to be in the dedicated character stories, where yes, they might not affect the story that much, but it at least allows the author to explore.
I disagree. Well, some of them. Lebanon story is probably the best, but some of them still not. Well, and I don't think all. Well, yeah, some of them are better. I think I like Wanderer's Quest. Wanderer's Story Quest is good. What more? Um, well, for Zenizone Zero, I don't know much to be honest. Like I don't play Zenizone Zero's story quest that much to actually give an opinion. I feel like they stopped doing it for some reason after season 2 ended for some reason. Like I don't know, like they stopped doing it. Nangon didn't have a story quest for some reason. But Genshin has a lot of story quests. There's so many. I haven't done all of like there's so many ones like Sino what I call Sino's second story quest. I haven't done it yet, which is unfortunate. What more story quests I haven't done it? So many. Like it's not because it's bad. It's just that I haven't done. They kind of pop out too much at the point that I didn't even do. Valka story quest is good.
Character more than just this person is your tour guide for the area.
I don't think Genshin is bad. Yeah, character depth. I think this is the most important thing in Genshin storytelling. Like the lack of stakes. Like I think, like as much as I like Honkai Star Rail, and there is a lot of stakes there. In the end, well, uh, like everybody loves the Crisis Air. Like them as a group are probably one of the most lovable group in because everybody would don't want them to die. Like all of them have their own set of characters and personalities, and they just don't want them to die. And in the end, the one that suffers is Sarini.
Now, in nearly every action-oriented story, which most gachas are,
Damn, I somehow made this longer than
there is usually going to be consequences for mistakes and character deaths. And it makes sense, right? Most gacha
Genshin
games
has
deal
it.
with characters that are insanely powerful.
Genshin still has it though. Like, well, sad character death. Yeah, they still have. Like for as well, characters that we know like Sinora, but Inazuma has a lot of characters that died, but we just haven't seen them in become playable. Um, Sumeru, Rukadavata literally got forgotten. This is one of the like, dude, that scene broke me. Like, generally. Then we have what you call what more? The in Nathan, no, Fontaine, our girl, like, dude, there's this Navia's bodyguard, Mrs. I don't remember, but their death was so sad. And then we get to know more about the father's death, and dude, Navia had it rough, bro, in Fontaine. Like, so many character death. And then we have the death of what called Fossilor, which is the Fossilor's death was so sad. Like, we just met her and then she died, and but within that seconds, her death, she has kind of show what character she is, and then after she died, we just like it still was impactful. Like, she did everything she can just so that she can sacrifice herself. Like she create a plan that involves only sacrifice herself as a result to win against the Fate, against Fate, which is very sad. And then we have Netland. Yeah, let's not talk about Netland. Like, Kushuchu, like this. Wait, who's that sister's name? Casca's sister died, was kind of sad, but I feel like they didn't did well. And there's a lot of deaths. I think like but I don't think Nathan is a good story. Like, Capitano died in a way, but the way he died also wasn't my favorite, to be honest. Like, dude, he didn't even become a boss. Like, dude, the way, like, it's honorable how he died, but I just don't accept the way he died because I feel like his contribution in Nathan's story was so minimal. Other than the fight against Malvika, other than that, like, dude, I would prefer Malvika to die. Like, there's like it has been foreshadowing her to die like for so long, and then she didn't die, and someone else is the one that took the prize. Like, dude, I prefer, like, I genuinely prefer what I call it, the Capitano become playable than Malvika. I'm sorry. Like, I don't like Malvika is my least favorite Archon. And then we have the Colombian storyline where, dude, the story of what I call Rarer and Tolindas was kind of sad. Like, they got tricked by the Abyss. Like, dude, the Abyss is such a cruel person, cruel entity. And then Dottore. Columbina technically died, but then it got become alive. But dude, the Moon Sisters death is kind of sad, knowing the fate of what I call the Crimson Moon. You know what I call Arya. I think I don't think it's not. I don't think that is it Sona. I think Sona is the name. The way she died, but somehow got tempered by the Abyss and still suffering until Columbina finally saw her and actually relinquish her from the suffering. Like, it's kind of sad to see. But I feel like Not Cry's story doesn't really have any major death. No, there's no death. Now, Columbina died, but he turned back alive. Sandrone! But I think Sandrone is going to be alive soon. Like, Sandrone's death was it was very shocking though. Um, but but I think she's going to become playable soon. So I feel like it's going to be a part on this narrative as well.
Head to their world, with them either being part of an organization that has a lot of resources or power at their disposal, or being individually really strong. And the villains you face are also similar in strength to you, with some being overwhelmingly stronger compared to you. So naturally, you'd expect the story to dabble with dire consequences for mistakes, or at least have some important characters dying trying to save the day, because of, they're that strong. But for 3D, this never happens. Never do the main characters really die or suffer consequences. When someone does die, it is usually a nobody that we don't care about, or had
Well, Sarini, like, she didn't die, but she's suffering. Like, she got, because the price for beating Ayatum is for her to be in a loop, or in a never-ending loop of causality and and of causality to make causality make sense. It's kind of sad in a way. And the Cursus Air was able to escape it, and the original Sarini still died. No, they both of them are the same person, but in the end, it's like Sarini didn't really get the happy ending.
Her entire story rushed.
The only positive thing about Sarini undergoing the loop is that she will always meet us for the first time, and then what call, like she's obviously going to feel the same happiness of meeting us for the first time, but then she will forget everything and go into the loop again and again. It's a, I don't know, like it's kind of sad, but she is still happy to spend time together with us for that moment of time. But after that, she's going to what call, bring back the loop, and she's going to, like, obviously she's going to forget everything that it is. But it's just sad to know that she's in a loop, in an infinite loop that she will never escape from.
So that the death feels somewhat impactful. Or you just beat the biggest bad you've ever seen, one that almost had their plan fulfilled. And from what we are shown, it would appear that it should at least cause some kind of collateral damage to either the players or the people. But no, instead we get told that the giant Blight Tide, all of the Bone Crushers with all their strength, and a giant fucking dragon only managed to cripple a girl. Are you fucking kidding me? This place doesn't even look like anything ever happened. And this is the thing I hate the most about these games.
Yes, I feel like most 3D games doesn't do this, huh? But they don't see the effect of the way called the place become tone. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't think so. Like the fact that this place doesn't look destroyed kind of sometimes defeat the purpose of having such a way storytelling.
Consequences of the story don't match at all with what we see after. The world and characters feel practically untouched. And as I stated before, the reason is it's just not worth it to model all of this. Modeling an entire new area to fit the story better in these games, especially open world ones, is too expensive and too much effort. And these games are for-profit companies. Look how much Genshin f***ing makes. Of course they're trying to save as much money as they can. And the other part, the reason no character really dies, is because why would you kill off your main revenue source? You want to keep the characters in your story around for as long as possible, so that people can get more and more invested in them, so that when the next banner rolls around, people really want to pull for them. So what ends up happening is these stories turn into shaggy dog stories, where the narrative never actually goes anywhere.
A long rambling story of Joe typically won't see visual only because it's considered a pointless. I feel like I don't want to say Genshin, like most Hoyoverse games are like this in a way. Yeah, I think so. Except Honkai Impact 3rd, obviously. But Honkai Impact 3rd, like he said, he doesn't consider it as 3D game because there's no open world. And this is just open world story. Like it's not 3D game. Like if you really think about it, this is not about open world game. This is about 3D, and it's not about 3D gacha game. This is about open world gacha game. Doesn't have great storytelling, and that's it. Yeah, it's just open world. Like I feel like most open world have that, like especially they need to keep updating. Like other open world games doesn't face this problem only because usually they just what you call it, a complete game, and that's why it's easy. While for gacha games, they need to keep updating the world and keep on giving more worlds, keep giving more world to explore. And yeah, I feel like it's very difficult to do. And I don't think, like, in terms of story, what I call stakes, it's kind of bad. But I don't know, like, yeah, well, Okra just revive Kalsid. Like, Kalsid just, survive. Well, I don't want to say, I don't want to compare with Aknas just yet because I haven't played all the story yet. But for Aknas Enfield, it's understandable. But we did see a character die, which is Neferit, which is I didn't expect the death. That, and then we have to see the brother of what I call Tang Tang actually die, and we the one that kill him with Tang Tang, which is, I feel like it's still good in a way. Like they're just not going, like it's so hard because I feel like characters death in, like, even I do love Genshin and ZZ and everything, but compared to emotional turmoil, like I feel like nothing hits me harder than Akna's story. Generally, like in terms of pure sadness, I think Akna's just has it covered, like generally. And that's why I think, because the way the villain characters are at we is so relatable, not relatable, but we are able to understand him in a way to the point that we kind of feel bad for them, and then the moment they die, we feel so sad to see their death, and sometimes we question if are we the bad ones actually.
We're constantly kicking the bucket along. Now, of course, this isn't just a problem for 3D gacha games. 2D gacha games also want to keep their characters in the story for a long time too, because they also want to sell you a character. Killing them also means that they can't use the character again or sell them again. But it is even more pronounced in 3D games, because like I was saying, 3D character models are a lot harder to make than 2D sprites. But in 2D games, even if you don't want to kill any of the main cast, which most games don't do anyway, it is just as easy to make a character purely for the story who is actually well written and looks just as good as the main cast.
True.
Like how in the first Kanto,
Tolindus looks good, and same with Rare. Like there's so many villains, like they did become playable in Genshin, and I'm just so sad. Like, dude, whenever they do shit like this, making a cat, like Genshin is so cruel with it. Like they make a character design that you want to be playable, and suddenly they died. They die or just forever become an NPC. Like for example, the sister from Linear. Like, dude, that's a insane design for an NPC. Like, why? Like, why are you doing this? What you going all out with it? Like Genshin is a hit and miss, in my opinion, in terms of NPC designs. Well, not really. I think Zenless Zone Zero has better NPC design. Yeah, Zenless Zone Zero has a way more better NPC design where everybody wants them to become playable. And for HSR, I actually don't know. Like the NPC design are unique and sometimes looks good. Like for example, like Koshiba, but you can sometimes know that they are not going to become playable due to because they don't really have some of the trademarks of in terms of character design in HS Uncastarial. For Genshin, it's so rare to have a good NPC design, and sometimes you have a good NPC design, and only because they are a boss, obviously, and yeah, just because they are villains. Like most villains has great designs, because they are villains, they are not going to be unplayable, which is very weird for them to do actually. For like I always question why they kill Sinora. Like Sinora's design is so good, but they decide to not make her playable. Like whoa, that's such an unexpected what called path them to take, because they can make so much money from both Capitano and Sinora, but nope, they decide to not do. Like what? Like sometimes Genshin is so strict with their storytelling sometimes, especially for like they really want to make the character that died only the one is playable, and the moment a character that is very well designed died, they would not make them playable no matter what, and they follow too much on the law. like like some of the QL sometimes have law explanation of why they can do shit. And I generally think the meme where you can skip story after gaining the power from Istarov is I generally think that it's not a meme. I feel like they're probably going to do something like that, to be honest. Like they like every mechanic in Genshin always have law explanation and implication. Like for example, teleportation device. Like there is a reason we are the only character that can use those teleportation waypoint, and there is a reason why. Like there's law implication of why we're the only one that can use it. And yeah, most of the world building on Genshin, or most of the mechanics and everything is so strict to the world building, to be honest. And I kinda appreciate it in a way. Like I can appreciate their what I call their effort to do it, but sometimes it's just so annoying.
Limbus Company, we are introduced to Yuri, an old employee of Lobotomy Corporation. She is an interesting character, someone overcome with guilt of surviving and
Why are
escaping
you
the
doing
collapse
this
of
on?
Lobotomy
What the
Corp.
hell?
And before she can even start to move past her guilt with the help of Limbo, she is turned into a fucking apple monster. And this is by far the least disturbing thing here. Holy shit, Project Moon. What the fuck are the birth rates doing to you? And since it is so much easier to create new characters and
What the fuck did I just saw? Wow, I want to play Lima's Company. What the hell? What the fuck did I just saw?
stories in 2D's games, they can afford to make even side characters interesting and fun to read about without sacrificing its other characters. Well, like I've been saying, it's just not worth working on and developing characters that won't be released in 3D games. To be honest, you can even tell when a character is going to become playable and not going to die anytime soon, just from how detailed their character model is. So, if you want to have a very good story that has
Sinora.
cool characters and places with much better writing and immersive worlds, read the 2D Gacha game stories, or the level system 3D games like Honkai Impact 3rd, though these ones do sort of fall into the 3D modeling trap for characters. Or instead, if you want to feel like exploring the world as an isekai protagonist and have really engaging and fun gameplay, then choose 3D games. Though that's not to say these games are bad.
Yeah,
Really,
they're
it's
not
down
bad.
to personal preference for what you enjoy. I know I like story, but some people only care about gameplay. And that's fair too. And the thing is, I like these games. I play Honkai, I play Enfield, I play Genshin even. Or I used to play it Genshin. So this video
job,
comes
Okuti.
more from a place of, I love your game, it is so fun. But can
Like-
you please
Genshin, like the moment you stop thinking about the gacha, I think it's okay as a game. It's understandable. Like they give so low pulls, and the controversy right now is that Genshin gives so low of a pull that they just feel pissed off. But I hope Sneznaya will change that, but I doubt it. The meta is changing. Like there's so many bad things about Genshin that I can just talk about because like Lunar Reaction, like dude. I hate Lunar Reaction.
fix this side of it? And to be honest, I really enjoyed Honkai Star Rail story. That one was actually really good.
Oh,
By the way, I have never actually
he does enjoy it. What do you call M4 story?
played any of the Project Moon games.
Huh?
By the way, I have never actually played any of the Project Moon games.
Oh, what? What?
I've just read all the stories because I've been told that the difficulty spike is vertical and I don't want to get sucked in just yet because
Wait, really? Oh fuck! You mean that you need certain? Oh my god!
I know that I'm going to really enjoy these games. Maybe I'll make it a sub goal. That's a really good idea.
Vertical, meaning that you need specific themes, right? I think. Oh man, that's going to be rough then when I start thinking. Oh man, is there a good time for me to start then? But yeah, I think that's all then. This video went for very long. Like it's just 15 minutes, but I try to explain some of my opinion because I do play. Like I've played 5 3D games for God's sakes. Like I even play NTE, but NTE needs to. I haven't continued the story yet. I don't know if it gets good, but I heard that a lot of people hate Tagedo, which is understandable. Like I don't like I also wonder if I should switch to Japanese dub, to be honest. Like some of the voice acting just doesn't hit. But I don't know. I think I mostly play games in English dub now. I used to play Genshin in Japanese dub only, but I stopped playing only in English dub because like I want to hear the voice and the problem with Japanese one is that sometimes I just hear it and then I just I just skip it because I read it ahead fast. Well, I guess I still think that Arknights can bring so much people in with voice acting if they voice act the story. I generally think that like they don't really need like even with CN dub is already enough. CN dub, JP dub, I think that's enough. Enough. Like they don't really need to do the English dub one because it's probably going to be hard because they need to have the accent and everything. But Japanese dub and CN dub is enough for me to actually enjoy the story. Like I just need to feel the emotion. Like the fact that I need to like as much as I like to imagine it, I feel like it would give so much impact if I just have the example of what the emotion is. Like, dude, the Rosemonte scene where she's yapping about those kids, does the world what I call does the world play fair with the kid thing, like that line, dude, that was so epic. Like some of the dialogue in Arknight is just insane. I love the dialogue in Arknight. It's just so unfair that they don't have voice lines. Like some of the scenes can be so epic, and it can make the scene even way look way more cooler if they have just voices. Like generally, but yeah, that's my opinion. Like, dude, that's like I didn't like I yet so much. But yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you for watching. Please enjoy, please and subscribe. I have to share the page to see more of my content, and yeah, peace out.